All right, this is Jason and Melissa Caplette from the Marpe Wellness in Canada, and these people are traveling. What do you call it? Traveling healers. They travel all over in the remote areas where people can't get out and go to get help. And so it's amazing what they do. It wears me out just watching them on their videos. But they are going to talk to us today about beyond the symptoms, the emotional keys to true healing. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for having us. So as Dr. Sheila said, I am Jason. She is Melissa. We have Marpe Wellness. Um, we started Marpe Wellness in 2023. It's a natural health healing clinic. Our main focus is helping people to find the healing from within. And so for us, we were always looking for ways to help our clients out. Um,
when we weren't there.
yeah,
Right?
there's so many supplements out there. There's so many lines, so many different things available. And the first thing I hate is charging people for another supplement and another supplement and another supplement. And you don't know what's going to work and what's not. And you got to wait a month or three to see if you're getting any results. And when we got introduced to Solex and
I
the AO
said
scan,
no.
I'm glad you said that
I
because I was
did.
going to.
I said no. Shalou introduced us, and I said, no, we need to focus on what we're all about. This is just another thing. I'm not doing this. This is an MLM. Not doing this. And we brushed her off for 3 months.
So I started digging into it, looking at it and thinking how we could help all of these people that we see when we do our road tours. We do 3,400 kilometers every 3 months on a tour to different provinces in Canada.
How many miles is that?
I don't know. It's lots. It's over 2,000, I'm guessing. But, we only see these clients every 3 months. We get them some immediate results, but then that fades off. So then they got to come back and, we're not starting from ground zero again, but we're not continuing where we left them. And that was a real bother to me, to both of us. And so when I started looking into Solex and the AO scan and how people could take the healing that we are able to help them with and just keep working from there to grow more, it made sense to me. So Melissa was still like, I don't know, you have to take it on. She had a
I'm
full
like, I'm
plate.
not doing any more. No, I'm not doing any more.
So after about a month and a half of doing this and introducing it to people, and we were signing people up on our road trips, which was the intention, was to get them the tool so they could do their own treatments and learn their own body, so they were healing themselves and not relying on somebody else. That was the goal. Once she started seeing that, she pushed me out of the way, and she's been running with it full time, which has worked out great. Um, So yeah, we're going to talk about the emotional keys to true healing.
A big part of why we knew that there had to be an emotional component is we thought we knew, how to get rid of. We have lots of different energy medicine modalities in our clinic, and we treat a lot of people very successfully with their physical pain, if it is, if it's just an injury or whatnot. But it baffled us that what we knew was not always the answer. And it's like, how could this knee pain still be an issue? So we had to dig a little bit deeper, and we did do some training where we were taught that the issues are in the tissues. So we have to take a look back and see what has happened in their life. When did the pain start, and kind of start bringing things together. So yeah, what if the pain you feel isn't just physical, but your body speaking the language of buried emotions? And that really is how we introduce everybody into our business now. There's almost always an emotional component. It isn't just what you see with the naked eye or based on their symptoms. There's always something bigger underneath.
Yeah, again and again, we've seen it that without the healing the emotions first, the physical results are temporary and usually incomplete. So they're not getting that lasting result. The emotional foundation of healing, that's a major part of what the scanner is all about. It's the invisible root that the scanner helps out with so well. You know, the buried trauma equals the body tension, which equals the symptoms. And so when we can address those and help people to understand that, especially the men, I love working on the men because I got no emotional issues. BS. You're the worst, actually. You've got buried emotions since you've been a child because you've been told,
Suck
suck
it
it
up.
up, be a man. Men don't cry. Well, that's why so many of our men in today's world are so messed up, crippled, and it's because of the emotional issues. We've seen it time and time again. The emotion stored in the fascia, the nervous system, even a cellular level.
So this goes back to in the womb, right? Um, yeah, so we are energy beings. So let's heal our bodies by changing our frequency, right? This is what we all know. This is why we have the scanner. Emotions are stored in the nervous system and the fascia.
So a little story, we had a client just recently came to us. She's had some knee issues, and as I was working with her doing some body work, I always address the emotions. Melissa does the scanner, so she's catching the emotions there. And so when we're in the treatment room and I'm working with her and I'm talking about the emotions connected with the knee, it started coming up because we had her doing the inner voice. She was listening to the inner voice as I'm doing the body work, which helps to get through the body work. But she started to recognize exactly the situation and what it was all about and who was her pain in her knee.
Mm-hmm. So it was her right knee, and what we know is that things that our bodies kind of split down the center, and any kind of pain on the right side often is attributed to the male dominant side. So it's a male in your life, whether it's your spouse or maybe your father or maybe your brother or maybe it's your boss, or
Could be the
but
neighbor.
yeah, it's generally from a man.
And so yeah,
And
we
then
were
left is the female.
left as a female. So we were able to address that with her. And once she recognized that, I just asked her to release it. As hard as that is to mentally let it go, but forgive that person. Uh, Send them a blessing. But to let that energy go that's in your body that's pent up.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I start working on her knee, I do restorative body work, and I'm basically using my elbow, so it's my bone on her bone, and I'm opening up the fascia. At first, I could barely touch her. After she acknowledged that and released that energy, I got in there and I got through the muscle tissue right into the bone, where we were able to open things up and re-energize that body part pain-free.
And so I'm just going to interrupt, sorry. And while he's doing the body work, she's listening to her inner voice, and I'm running Cephis. And I'm running Cephis. Sometimes I choose them, but sometimes we're asking the scanner, right? We're clicking on scan just to find out what Cephi under the quantum reach is going to be most appropriate. Forgiveness comes up so much, right? So I'm playing forgiveness. I'm broadcasting that to her body while she's listening to her inner voice, while he's doing the body work and kind of coaching her through the appointment. Crazy, life changing. It really is to watch it.
You know, we used to have to guess what the person's problems were, and we could figure out some of it based on where the problem was in the body. But now with the scanner, it's like jumping off the page at us, telling us what we need to focus on and how to address that issue. So it's been game changer for us and our clinic, and more importantly for the clients.
And
Right?
I just wanted to add that we also check the body for polarity before we do any treatment.
Yeah.
We use a pendulum to do that. And quite often, there is good flow in the knees. Like for this particular client, there was no like energetic blockage. So we know that that's not the root cause, right? So that's where we can do whatever they ask for. Like we have a different modality that we use. We put energy right into that area. But so we can treat the knee, that's not going to address the pain. And so that using the pendulum for us is a great way to figure out, is this emotional? Is this physical? Are we dealing with an injury, or are we dealing with something that's a lot deeper?
And for me, using that pendulum, because I've been using it for so long, and I really do trust everything that it tells me about the client, it solidified that the AO scanner is legit. You know, everybody thinks it's a little woo-woo. Like, you can't tell me all of you guys are 100% like this is legit. Maybe now we all can, but in the beginning, how many of us could really say, "Oh, I'm 100% on board"?
Mm-hmm.
So I was backing that up with using the pendulum work, and it was bang on with what I was finding in the body versus what the scanner was finding in the body. So it was massive. It was incredible. Sheila.
If you don't mind, for people who don't know what pendulum work is, can you give a short explanation?
It's basically muscle testing. So I use the pendulum. It'll spin clockwise for a yes and counterclockwise for a no.
Or positive for a positive charge in the body. So how we demonstrate it, because as Christians, a lot of our people that come to us are like, "What are you doing? Stay away from me. This is a crystal," and it's not well received in the beginning. So we actually have to get out a battery, and on the cathode and anodes, the positive and the negative, we hold up the positive, and the pendulum spins in a clockwise direction. We turn it over, and the negative charge, it will actually reverse the spin. So it'll tell people that where those negative charges, or where we need to increase the
Yeah, so then all I do is I go through the body asking if there's any blockages. What's the polarity? And the polarity is the blood flow, the circulation, the lymphatic, and just the energy flow of the body. So if there's a blockage, we know we have to address something in that area or connected to that area.
Yeah. The body can't heal unless the frequency is positive, right? So we need to make sure we have good energy in the body.
And thank you for clarifying that, because that question comes up a lot about, is this okay as a Christian? And we're just explaining frequency and charge, because we are electrically charged beings, and there is nothing demonic or bad or wrong with using a pendulum. And I love the demonstration you use with the battery. That's excellent.
And then for those people, and I'll let you speak to this, because this is
actually
important.
did a bunch of research, because when we first got the pendulum, I was working on a Christian lady, and she's like, "You better do some homework on this." So I did. And I looked for both sides, figuring out, should a Christian be using the pendulum and why? And should a Christian not be using the pendulum and why? And you get all sorts of answers when you Google stuff. You get exactly what you're looking for. So I actually spent some time in prayer, and I actually used the pendulum. And I was sitting in our treatment room, and I asked, "Is Jesus in this room?" And it spun bigger than I've ever seen. And I started crying.
It wasn't just that. It was, do Christians believe? Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. You changed the order this time.
Do Christians believe in the pendulum, using a pendulum? They're like, no. Does the Bible say to use the pendulum? No. The Bible was changed in 1872,
anyway,
I believe,
lots.
just so we know. And then it was Jesus in the room, and it was a strong yes. And I said, does God want me to use this pendulum for this kind of work? And it was the strongest. I swear that pendulum was like sideways.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen it that strong on anything before. So I feel that I'm protected using this from anything bad.
Yep. And just a side note, sometimes it will be a circle, and sometimes it's just a straight,
right,
front to back or side to side.
Yes, because my pendulum is going opposite. What was my pendulum is now his, and so I had to get a new one.
You have to program them when you get it to figure out what does what. So
look into that, and it's really easy to figure out and use, and easy to get a pendulum.
Yeah. So how do we use the inner voice and mind sync? Well, with the inner voice, we all know that it measures the frequencies of our voice. It reveals the emotional imbalances, and it generates balancing tones to retune your system. So we're all familiar with how to do that. Um, the balancing tones help the body to harmonize the emotions. That is so important because if you, the analogy I use is a tennis ball. Our lives are up and down, highs and lows, highs and lows, highs and lows. Well, with the inner voice, it helps to balance things out so that things stop going high and low so much. So instead of this, it's this, which is more in balance, which allows your body to heal.
Something that we've recently decided on in our clinic is that we know after that first initial meeting whether this program is going to be kind of mandatory as part of their healing, because you can't achieve the kind of healing that they want without first dealing with the emotions. So we really try to get a commitment. You know, a lot of people, they're just unsure, they're not sure if it's going to work. We encourage people to try it for at least 3 months. It's like 3 month minimum. Just give us 3 months. If you're not seeing a change, fine, you know. But we've almost made it kind of like a mandatory thing. We always start with the inner voice. Like I said, we get them on our massage table. We get them on, which is our infinity mat is on top of that. So put the frequencies, infuse that infrared and all of that into their body, listen to the inner voice, soften those emotions so that when we get into the body work, they're ready to receive that physical treatment.
Yeah. Okay.
He's all PowerPointy and I'm just kind of go with it. So I'm like, what is that? Go ahead.
So the mind sync, it delivers the personalized affirmations in your own voice. It uses binary audio. So we all know this stuff, but I didn't know what the audience was going to be. So it's about having the different tones in the different ears to help balance the
Do
harmonics
you
of the
guys all
body.
use MindSync? So, yeah. So it's only been probably, I mean, we've been with Solix for about a year. I would say maybe 7 months that I've really been using it because I'm like, whatever, you know, MindSync. I'm fine. I don't need to use MindSync. Wow, is MindSync ever powerful though? Powerful. You talk about, and this is like completely different than our topic at hand, but you want to build your Solex business, use MindSync and affirmations. Create yourself a playlist. It is so powerful, and it has really helped change our business. But getting into more on the emotional people with like post traumatic stress and those inner child traumatic issues, the buried grief, all of that stuff, you know, guide your clients into using inner voice. And it's kind of one of those weird things you're not really sure about, but
It truly works.
it truly does work.
We
We're
can
seeing
definitely
really
tell the
good.
difference with the people that use the mind sync. You just said inner voice, but
Oh,
they
sorry.
use the mind sync
MindSync.
and those that don't. And I tell the clients that in our first treatment, when I know that they're going to subscribe and work on this, that in a week from now, I'll be able to tell if you've been doing your homework. Because as soon as I start working on the body, I can tell because the body will block me out. And so it's really easy for me to call them on their BS real quick. So it's not a threat, it's a promise. But no, it's about helping them to realize like this is important. This is important in your healing. It's not about me, it's not about the money for me. It's about helping you get the healing that you're coming to us for. And it's in the palm of your hands, literally, that you can help yourself out and so many other loved ones and friends and family that you have. And so once they start using it and recognizing the changes, I've noticed that our treatments have been reduced, which is fantastic.
Because everyone loves that pain.
Yeah, it's fantastic because now the clients are getting what they wanted. We can't give it to them right away because it grew over time, but they're getting it much quicker than I originally predicted, which is what I love. So a couple examples. We had a gentleman come to us that I've known for a while. Our kids played hockey growing up and stuff, so I knew him for a little bit. And he came to me when he found out what we were doing, and he had this massive neck problem. This is before we did the scanner stuff. And I got in there and the emotions in his neck. This is a man who told me straight out, he's like, I've never cried before in my life. So good luck telling me to, just let it go. If you want to cry, cry. If you want to scream and yell, scream and yell. And once I started working on his neck, he started like, holy crap, this hurts. I'm like, let it go. You're hanging on to some pent up energy. I got more detail with him. And as I started hitting the buttons, exactly what was happening with his life, he broke down and cried. And he cried and cried and cried. He's like, what did you do to me? And I just said, I just let it go. I just helped you to let it go. And it changed his life, And now doing these same treatments with the AO scanner, it's not nearly invasive as it used to be. I'm getting faster results for the clients, both in like treatment time and number of treatments. So it's been amazing. It's been incredible how we've been able to put it all together. And as a team, Melissa gets to run frequencies outside the room while I'm in the room with him, focusing on that specific energy that he's struggling with.
Yeah, there's another really powerful story about how the AO scan and the CEPIs played a really crucial part in a gentleman's pain. He is someone that he went to every modality out there, everything for chronic pain.
This guy spent over
$100,000.
$100,000 traveling around and paying people to get him out of this chronic pain.
Yeah. So when we were introduced, this was on one of our healing tours. So it would have been last December. And I thought, you know what? How could it hurt? How could it possibly hurt? I said to, I won't name his name, but I need you to provide me with a voice sample. We're going to do this. I'm going to run scans on you. He says, whatever. He's like, I've been through everything, and I didn't charge him. I didn't want his money. I ran scans on him. I did it consecutively for a week, and I'm just talking scan and optimize. A multi-scan. I created a couple of playlists, but very simple things. I didn't have 10, 12, 15 things. It was just simple emotional things that I looked at. I would kind of evaluate his scans. That's in the beginning. I was really like diving deep into those reports, which I do not recommend that you spend a lot of time doing that in the beginning, because it can overtake you. But I got feedback from him after only a few days, and plus we had him on a very alkaline diet, right? Like he knew that was a trigger for him, so that was his job. You do this, and I'm going to work on the frequencies. It was only within a few days. He says, I don't know what you're doing, but it's working. $100,000 this guy had spent, and the impact that scanning and optimizing did, and sending forgiveness and peace, calm and tranquility, and just the simple things. You don't need to create crazy playlists. He would feel the pain down his right side of his body, but I didn't focus on the physical pain. I didn't focus on muscles or anything like that. I focused on the emotional, and that's where he was kind of blown away. Then he started paying me, because he says, you're spending all this time, because I need to prove myself to him. I wanted him to have a little taste of it. Now this is somebody that is a Hutterite. So on the colonies, they don't have. I shouldn't say they don't have a budget, but a lot of them, they don't do stuff like this. Sometimes they don't have internet, or they can't do this kind of treatment. But he had a family member that was outside the colony that is now treating him. So I need to touch base with him to see what's up with his healing, but he's getting the treatment that he needs now.
And one last example was in joint pain. Had a gentleman that had come to us, lower back problems. And as I was doing the body work around his left SI joint, I found this, I was going to say a loony, but nobody's going to understand, the dollar coin.
You guys know what a loony is? It's like that.
It was a good 1-inch diameter lump in his lower back, calcified. And every time I got near it, it was super painful for him. Now this is a man. He's a cowboy. He's a rancher. So he's the man of man of man. And and luckily he was a Christian as well, so I could use some scripture to help me maneuver through some of this. And when I told him he needed to decide if this was a worldly pain or a biblical pain, I left it at that, and I let him think on it. And then he told me, he's like, I'm done with this blop. And I said, okay, just let me know when you want me to start up again. He took a minute and he's like, go ahead. I made 3 movements and that big lump was totally gone. That's how much these emotions can impact our bodies. And if you don't know what it is or you don't know how to get rid of it, that's where the scanner can really step it up huge to help a person out that doesn't think they have any problems or doesn't know they have any problems. So that's the big things for us. In closing, true healing starts with emotions. Once we release what's buried, the body finally has permission to heal. What emotions might your body be carrying that are asking to be heard? Melissa got one other quick story. I'm
Yeah.
just going to share this.
This doesn't really relate a lot to our talk.
Just let you pass that around.
So, 1 month ago today, I saw a Facebook post from a mom, a lady that went to our church, a mother of 5 children, baby boy that was born with a genetic liver disorder, and lives in the hospital. So 1 month ago, she had posted that he had been admitted back into the hospital, severe pancreatitis, and he was hooked up, and it was the Holy Spirit saying to me, "You need to help with this little boy." Oh my gosh, sorry. I reached out to her. So I don't really know her personally. We've met a few times, but I said to her, "Steph, can I run frequencies on your little guy?" And she says, "Absolutely. Like we'll try anything right now." They've been looking for a donor with no luck. He's about 18 months old. I said, "I need a picture. I need all this information." And I got the information from her. You guys have all seen the little pictures. And I just immediately started running scans on him and sending supporting frequencies. And I would do it, and I would do it, and I would, thank you. And I touch base, and they're living at the hospital. She's not checking her messages. Once in a while, she says, "Yeah, we really need pain control and prayer, right? We're constantly praying for her." So I was sharing this story of this little boy last night with the rest of the ladies, and I said, I haven't heard from her, and I don't know what's going on. But something in me said, you need to run frequencies for him. So last night, for about half an hour, his body was asking for sleep well. So I played sleep well. And then I ran immune support all night. And then I went to bed. And this morning, as humans, we all go to Facebook. The very first thing that I see is that picture, that second picture. It was Steph's profile with a little picture of this smiling boy saying, "Today's the day for his liver transplant." And I was, I just came to Jason. I was just in tears when I went out to the kitchen and I was crying, overjoyed. This is exactly 1 month. And I can't say that the scanner made a difference, but I truly believe it did.
Praise God. Thank you guys so much for reaching out to that family.
Yeah.
The big message here was don't ever hold back the power of this device. It could save somebody's life.
We're
Thank
just
you.
going to leave it at that.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
That's why we're Wow Wellness.
Yeah.
Any questions?
Oh, yeah. Any questions? Sorry.
Amazing.
Okay. My question is about when you're working on people physically, are you doing like massage techniques or what are you doing?
It's restorative body work. It's non-surgical, so we're not going where the massage therapists are allowed to go. So it's a modality that we learned. There's a couple of us here that know it as well, but it's really going into the nooks and crannies, like I said, where the registered people aren't allowed to go, and we're getting incredible results with that kind of stuff.
Like into the fascia and stuff like that?
Into
Yeah.
the fascia, into the right into the joints,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
when somebody says, "Is it like a deep tissue massage?" I'm like, "You'll see."
Way better. Yeah. Way deeper. Okay. Thank you.
Get it right in my head. When you were talking about releasing the emotions, when we have a generational emotion that they're not aware of, how do you handle that?
Again, it comes down to trying to figure out what it is, right?
So you have to figure that out for
Mhm.
them.
Well,
correct?
we have to help them
And
figure
I
it
think
out.
that's going to be a new thing that we're going to have to dive into a little bit deeper is those generational wounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if it came from their great grandmother, great grandfather,
Exactly.
great, how are they going to realize what it is?
Yeah. And sometimes you don't need to know, right? It's just the
Mm-hmm.
willingness. It's the willingness to release it.
Okay.
And by release it, we're talking about forgiveness,
Mhm.
gratitude.
Okay. And then you were talking about the with the pendulum. I'm a certified dowser, and with dowsing, we either use the L-shaped wand or
Yep.
we use the pendulum. So that's another way to address it too.
Yes.
Mhm. Yeah, exactly.
You
And
can
they'll
ask
be
the
more
body.
receptive of it because if you say, "Hey, I could find water for you,"
Exactly.
that's always been around.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can ask the body pretty much anything with these devices, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So, and actually, when you say water, that's a good point I want to bring up. Is we're electrical beings, as we said in the presentation.
Mhm.
We need to serve our clients water before, during, and
Hydration.
after
Hydration.
doing these scans,
Absolutely.
because
Absolutely.
the majority of the population is dehydrated.
Mhm.
And how do you start a battery that's dry?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we actually had training with a board and a plumb line. I don't know. Did you ever do that? No, Dr. Whitman taught that class, and that was when we all went to school. Did you ever do it, Daryl? With a plumb line? No. Okay. So that's how long I've been in with this. Oh, you've done it with a plumb? Oh, oh, okay, okay. Come on. All right. Thank you.
Have you guys using the wand for the water treating? Not using the treating to do something with the water, and then have
Yes.
your client. So,
Yep.
what are the experiences you have?
Using the wand to put put frequencies into the water. Well, we have quite a water story. Like we structure our water. We use the Kangen water is 9.5, and then we wand the water as well. So it's like supercharged power water. Um,
People notice a difference when they drink our water
yeah,
from the same town that we're living in. It's different.
it's anything you can do to increase their vibration and increase their frequency, right? Increase the vibration and frequency, you're going to increase the healing.
So you're using the wand for. You're using the wand to for how long? 3 minutes?
You know, I have just a jug on the counter and I just kind of let it go. So it's probably 15, 30 minutes.
Whoa.
10.
Yeah, well, depends on who's doing it.
Okay.
But I'm not sure how long it's recommended even.
So you,
I just put it on and let it
I
go.
think Lauren has said 5 minutes is
Yeah.
sufficient.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I like to overdo everything, 30 minutes is better than 10.
Hurt anything. Not going to hurt anything.
Thank you guys.
Yes.
Thank you so much.